Oh my gosh, there's so many of you on tonight. Thank you so much for showing up. I love it. For those of you who might not know me, how could you not know me? I'm Renee McLaughlin, and I'm a master T-Tapp trainer. And tonight I wanted to come on and talk to you guys about the benefits of this new class that I'm really excited to offer to you. I'm calling it Relax and Release Stretch Class. And it is all about the stretch. And thank you. I'll tell you what, I'm also going to be kind of manning the comments. And I'm going to put a few of these up here, you guys, if you don't mind. We're going to have fun. And I really want to make this kind of interactive so I can kind of talk a little bit to you about this new stretch program and what I'm finding with it. And I'm going to ask questions and maybe bring some of you guys on too. Okay. So thank you. Charlotte's on. I'm just going to do a quickie on here to say hi to some of you guys before we keep going. And, oh, Terry, my darling, hi. I'm going to show your little comment here, too, because I love, love, love you. And, Terry, I'm really excited. I think this stretch program is going to be awesome for you. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and hide your comment right there if I can figure out how I just did that. Sorry, guys, I'm kind of learning my way here. I'm going to hide that. All right, let's get started. So I have been stretching for, oh my gosh, my whole life. And as you guys know, I just hit a big birthday. So that's a lot of years I've been stretching. And while I love stretching, what I've learned is there's a lot to it. When I was young, this is so funny, you guys, I used to come home from school and I would lift my leg up. I got my leg up on the kitchen counter and I'd be stretching. Woo! That was my home lifted, my standing desk just dropped. So don't put your leg up on your standing desk while doing a Facebook Live. That's a big lesson for right now. Anyway, I always did it. I love the feeling of stretching my body. But you know what, you guys? Over the years, I've studied with different people who call themselves experts in stretching, and I have learned so much about it. Now, we know that in T-Tapp, a lot of stretching is incorporated in there. Teresa Tapp absolutely understands the value of stretching, and we've got a lot of it in there. But I found that because I was doing it so much, so often, you know, when you do the same things all the time, it was important for me, yay, Nan, it was important for me to also find other ways to continue to stretch. Otherwise, you end up with a little bit of muscle imbalance. So anyway, I've been studying it a lot. So you know we do a lot of extra stretching in my T-Tapp classes, a lot of standing stretches, a lot of hip stretches, loving it. But I've discovered that there's some additional ways that we need to learn how to stretch. That's what I want to talk to you about tonight. Now, I want to start talking to you a little bit about the physical reasons to do it. And then we're going to kind of move on to some other reasons that would be really good to do it. Physical meaning, how's that going to help you in your body? So here's some things that I have learned about stretching. We are so externally focused on really pushing through and my gosh, I've got belly fat and I'm going to have to really work hard and I'm going to do aerobic exercise, right? And really push, push, push. And that's kind of where we've come from an exercise place for such a long time, right? But here's an interesting thing. The body has something called the stretch reflex. And this is a beautiful thing about the body. The body has a way that when you start to stretch to a certain point, it will automatically stretch back, okay? And that's to protect us from stretching too far and creating injury. So what happens is we're like busy trying to get ourselves to a certain place, pushing, 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 and the body is like, no, and pushing back. So what we're doing is we are creating a situation where we're kind of putting on the gas and the brake at the same time. And then we don't really get a good, stretch out of it. And that's why a lot of people really have a hard time. They don't understand, like I'm stretching, but I'm really not getting a whole lot more flexible. So Here's a beautiful thing to remember when you go to stretch, okay? You want to go to a certain place where you start to feel tension and especially pain. We never, here's a big rule, girls. I'm going to put it right on up here. Can I put my own up here? Live comments. I don't see how I can do it, but I'm going to say hi to all you guys anyway for a second. But never stretch through pain, because pain is the body's way of telling you, stop. You've gotten to the place where the body is like, no, I'm going to push back. So you just go there, you come back just a little bit, you use your mind and your breath, big inhale, exhale, relax, and then see if you can go just a little bit more. You have to relax into that place and gently start to take it. So it's a way to really gently work with your body to get it to the next place. And that's how we're going to begin to really get the body to a place where we can open it up. So stretching is amazing. We used to kind of relegate it to, okay, I just did my run and I just worked out hard. Okay, so maybe I'll go stretch. We don't have any time for stretching, so we'll just keep going. Or we'll do a couple real quick little stretches and off we go. Well, just holding a stretch for 2 or 3 seconds, you know what? Don't bother, because it really takes some time for the body to just stop and relax into that stretch for it to really happen. So I was lucky enough to find a couple of wonderful teachers. I'm not going to talk too much about them now, but to say that you guys know I went on a retreat for 5 days out in the wilderness and spent 5 days on the mat, as we say, on the mat. I love the way that sounds. And we were just stretching. Oh my gosh, just relaxing into the stretch. And I learned a whole lot more about stretching, things that I didn't know. And you know me, I like to experience it, really get a feeling for what's going on, so that then I can bring it back to you guys and share the situation. And so that's really what I wanted to share with you tonight and why I wanted to put these together. So a couple of things right off that I want to share about this kind of stretching. The stretching in this class is going to be very different, you guys. First of all, at least for the beginning couple weeks of the stretch, it's going to be all on the mat or on the ground, okay? So we're going to get on the ground, and I'm going to share with you some positions. I will talk you through it, but here's where this is going to be very different. These are not going to be positions that you're going to look at me and you're going to try to look like I look, okay? No, instead, you're going to say, okay, Renee, I'm hearing what you're saying. I'm going to show it to you. And then you're going to actually shut your eyes, go inside the body, and start to feel the movement inside yourself. Okay, you're going to begin to feel, man, as I dropped my head and started to slouch my shoulders down, I'm going to say, okay, stop there, go into your body and see, are there some extra muscles that you can just relax and let go? Like your forehead. Have you ever thought about the muscles in your forehead? Or how about your jaw? You guys realize how much we hold ourselves so tightly in our muscles. It's absolutely amazing. And we don't even realize it. You know, I remember a few years ago, this just really struck me. I was driving to go to my studio to teach a class, because that was when I had to drive somewhere to get there. And if you guys have ever driven, well, in Atlanta or really probably anywhere, I'm like driving on our major highway and I'm like this, right? I realized, oh my gosh, Renee, you were like so tight and there was nothing wrong. That's just my automatic reaction to driving in heavy Atlanta traffic. And I wasn't even aware of it. So imagine I get to the studio and I'm already like this. Okay, and now we're going to start the T-Tapp. And I'm already stressed out. And there's nothing stressful going on in my life. Right? So even if you're not going through something stressful, gosh, if you've even lived at all for 10 years, you know, we have stress build up, and stress and gets locked up in our muscles, in our tissues, in our cells. And it really creates this tension that we don't know we're having, okay? So that to be said, when we get on the mat and we start getting into our body and we start realizing, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize. I'll show you beautiful breathing that we just breathe in and we can relax that tension. So we're going to start on the mat. We're going to start relieving the tension. And you know, one of the places that we're going to do a lot of stretching is in our hips, you guys, because we are all so locked up in our hips, so much tension we carry there. And then when our hips lock up, guess what? It locks up our knees. It can lock up in our rib cage, and yes, in our shoulders. Isn't that amazing? I learned that too. So you know what? I'm going to stop here for a second, and I'm going to say hello to some of you guys, okay, and see what all you're asking me. And then we're going to get back in, because I really want to share with you some additional things that I've realized about adrenal fatigue. Yes, but let's go on. Some people are having trouble with buffering. Sorry about that. This is Facebook Live, and it's probably something that has to do with your internet connection. And Charlotte, thank you. Charlotte says, yes, I appreciate it. Night, Janice, I love you always. And Charlotte, I'm really glad I can see that you're getting that in the stretch and finding our own truth. Absolutely. That's locked up in here. And so it's not about out there, right? Looking out there to see that. So thank you guys. Hey, Ginger. Hey, Betty and Lisa, I miss you. I hope you're feeling better. All right, so let me get back into it. So a couple of things that I really want to mention. So I'm going to get into this next thing next. One of the women who really works with this whole program, who I'm studying under, she is a beautiful healer. I won't get too much into all that, except to say that she has worked with the body and recognized that we have very specific geometric patterns that are actually out in the cosmos, out there as well as in here, right? As below as above, as inside as outside, and as below as above. So it all kind of works together. So this is what I mean by that. What she discovered is that, let's say you have frozen shoulders, and I know you guys, frozen shoulders can be so painful. If you're not sure what that is, it's like where people can barely lift an arm. It's really painful. Imagine that. And what happens when you have frozen anything, right, is you don't want to move. Even though you know maybe that movement is going to really help, my gosh, we don't want to move. We're tight and it hurts, but we've got to be able to get movement into the joint again. And so how are we going to do that gently and evenly? Well, this stretch will do it. But I also want to share with you that when you have frozen shoulders, you can work the hips, because the hip connects right up the line to rib cage. You might find when your shoulders are frozen, guess what? It's really hard to even turn, and your hips are probably frozen. So if we can start to loosen up in the hips gently on the floor, which will start to loosen up in the rib cage, and guess what? All of a sudden, we're able to get more movement into the shoulder. How about if you have knee problems? You know, we're so in this Western society focused on, if I have a knee problem, there's something wrong with my knees. But what we have discovered with most of the time, knee issues are not caused from your knee. They're coming from either foot, because you know I'm all about the feet, but also tight hips. Now, guys, in class, you might have noticed, if you've taken some classes with me, especially there was a point in time, and of course you guys know we're going to be doing it again, where I had us, and you can even do this now, putting our thumbs around our ribs, the back rib, around the rib cage. We do a little bend of the knee. I'm going to drop my camera a little bit lower so you can see this. Dropping the knee right here, I'm going to bend my knees a little bit. I like to go a little wide so I can give my hips a lot of space here. I'm going to bend. And then I have us just kind of connect to our hip. And I'll say, bring your hip up and then tuck under. So what we're going to be doing is a big hip rotation, but very specific. Other side, lift just the hip and then take the tail back. So we lift a hip, you might not even really be able to see this. Curl under, lift the other hip and back. So it's these big hip rotations. And what I have found is that a lot of us are not connected. We're doing this, right? We're working the whole body. It's like, I don't even get what you're saying, Renee. I can't do it yet. A lot of times when I start working with people on T-Tapp, and I'll say, right, we do our curl it under, arch it back, curl it under, arch it back. And a lot of us have a really hard time. It takes us a while to really get that, but it's so worth it because we need to be able to get fluidity into those hips. Okay, fluidity, flexibility, mobility to move in the hips. And when we start to move in the hips and get out of pain, all of a sudden the knees feel better and we can even really help those shoulders and open up. So these are the things that we're going to be able to do when we're in this stretch class. We're going to be working on all of this really gently, really slowly, using our mind to get in and work with that. I always find it just so interesting, and we've talked about this before. I just kind of want to get into this for a second, and that is, I find it so interesting. Here's what I'm talking about with patterns in the body. Notice this, we have feet that have 5 toes, and we have hands that we have 5 fingers. You know how Teresa always talks about the big toe, lifting the big toe, stretching the thumb, how the brain is connected to big toe and thumb. They kind of mirror each other, don't they? How about ankles and wrist? And you know how we a lot of times can have weak ankles if the feet aren't working well, and weak wrists. That's that joint there that we have to work on. How about knees and elbows? They're kind of the same. Shoulder then, and what? Hips. Yeah. So that's what I mean. There are patterns and we can work the body all the way up. Now, one other thing that I really want to talk about, probably there'll be more than that. You know how I can go on, but this one really struck me. As I got down on the floor, and I've been doing this, you know, and some of this, as you know, the class is going to be 60 minutes, and you're going to gift yourself with 60 minutes to just go into your body and relax and release. But what would happen is I'd feel so good, and I'd get up. And I was struck, you guys, really struck with the fact that I was relaxed. I mean, I was really relaxed. And I realized, wow, it's been a really long time since I felt truly relaxed in my body. And I bet you any money, you guys, you feel the same way, right? And so it really shows me how much tension, energy, I'm going to use even the word energy, because when we're holding ourselves tightly, we're using so much energy, which is one of the reasons that we're so tired, right? We're using energy, and those poor adrenal glands are constantly pressing out that, you know, that cortisol. Then, because our adrenal glands are always in that fight or flight, just trying to keep us going, we have that cortisol insulin cascade going. And you know, when we have higher insulin, what happens? Our blood sugar is a problem, and so is this, right? And it's, I think, what happens when we hit these hormonal plateaus, menopause, perimenopause, and all of a sudden, you know, we're like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Hot flashes, we're exhausted, you know. Why? I do believe, of course, we know a lot of us our adrenals are just crashed out, you guys, and we're holding ourselves tightly. And we can't get any oxygen and nutrients into those muscles because we're like this. So it's this whole cascade that happens. And what do we call it? We can just lump all this stuff together into that one word, which is stress. We are stressed out. Even if there's nothing stressful really happening in our life, even if we think we're not stressed, we're holding that tension. And so what might happen, you guys, if you can just get down on the mat, taking those deep breaths in, exhaling out, relaxing and releasing all the muscles in your body. Yeah, we go from being in that sympathetic, that's what it's called. We're using the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight or flight all the time. We're able to shift into the parasympathetic nervous system, and that is rest and restore. And that's how we're really going to be able to start to heal those poor, stressed out adrenal glands. So I ask you, what might happen when we actually start to relax and release this stored up tension, energy, trauma that we're holding in the body? Are you starting to kind of get it? It's like, wow, just to be able to relax. You think maybe you'd be sleeping a little bit better? Because part of the reason we don't sleep is we're like this, right? To be able to maybe do it. That's one of the reasons that I did it at 7 at night and not at 9 in the morning. I want you to be able to relax into your evening. Relax that. Get up and be able to just go have maybe a nice warm bath, or maybe even just go sit in bed and read a nice book. So being able to relax into your body. How about if you have any trouble with regularity? Let's just talk poop here for a moment. Constipation is so much about this, right? That we can start to relax. We can relax into our body. And yes, I do believe that over time, the cortisol drops, the insulin gets balanced, and then we're going to be able to truly watch as we deflate our bellies. Not because we're doing such great core strength, which we will be doing, by the way, in this stretch series. We'll be connecting to our pelvic floor and really learning how to stretch there. But I'm really at this point just talking about the relaxation and the release. So I know I have talked a long time about a simple stretch class, and I appreciate you guys just talking and learning here. It looks like some people were having a hard time with this, and I'm so sorry about that. I hate it. Hopefully you'll be able to at least watch it as it replayed. Let me just see if there's anything else here that I can say. What did Nan say? Yay, T-Tapp and stretching. Yay, Nan, I agree. Thanks for that. And hi, Anne-Marie. Thanks for that. Love it. And Charlotte, I just have to bring you on because you have been awesome. Thank you. And Danielle and Terry, I said that already. Anybody else that came on? No? Thanks, you guys. I don't want to take up any more of your time. I really appreciate it. Now, here's what I do want to say. If you want to come on and do the stretching classes, I would so love to have you. I know you're going to love it. When am I having them? Well, just so you know, I have my regular T-Tapp classes every morning, Monday through Saturday at 9 o'clock. They're either 30 minutes or 50 minutes. And a lot of times when they're 50, I'll do a 30-minute standing, and then I like to get on the floor. So if you don't take any more time, they're always recorded as well. So if you can't make that time, I know some of we have to work, right? I know it's difficult, but anyway, so they're recorded if that's the best way you can do it. And then I'm having these stretch classes starting next Tuesday. They're going to be Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard. And I'm also going to do a Saturday at 10 o'clock. Yes, they are going to be recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can still watch it recorded. And I know times and schedules are hard. If you can make it live, it would be so good. Because listen, we all know we mean to do a 60-minute get on the floor and work for ourselves. But I know sometimes it can be challenging. So at least live, you know, sorry gang, I'm on live. I'm going to get on the ground and stretch. So I'm going to leave a link here. I thought that there were places that I could put this here. Love it. You can go right on to, sorry, I'm just looking, onto the T-Tapp site, onto the events page, and there is a page right there for my August live and recorded classes, and you can sign up there, which I love. So you can get all the information there. If you have any questions, you guys know you can come on here, message me, email them if you have it. I'm always here to help. Loving it. And if there's anything else that you'd like for me to kind of come on and help and share on these Facebook Lives, love it. Thursday night, I'm going to have a Facebook Live with my dear friend, Dr. Kim Caporale, and we are going to be talking CBD oil, you guys. Awesome stuff to combine with the stretching. Helps with relaxation, with depression, with whatever ails you. So thanks, you guys. Have a great evening. Relax. And I'll see you soon. Bye. I thought that I could